I was cleaning out the fridge and I heard her start screaming in the backyard. At first I thought it was the sound of squeaky bike tires, and I asked my landlord and I would say, "Do you hear that?" And he looked in the backyard and saw River. So I ran out into the backyard and automatically saw that she had essentially degloved her entire front left leg.
We treated her for several days, just giving her wound time to sort of declare itself and determine exactly what extent of skin was going to be salvageable and what was going to not be salvageable because of blood loss. And once we sort of had the answer of that, me and the family had a pretty good conversation about expectations, because the project was even bigger at that point.
For our lifestyle, River's super active. She runs on the trails with us, she plays in the mountains and skis with us. So, and she's still young, she's only 5, so we knew we wanted to try our best to keep her leg if we could. And Dr. Stockdale was pretty confident that we could do that. So he had us in and told us about this crazy sounding procedure, which at first I told Evan, absolutely not, we're not doing that. But we were really confident in him and he seemed really confident.
For all intents and purposes, the rest of her leg was perfectly normal. All the muscles, ligaments, tendons, bones were uninjured. And she's a very athletic, young, active dog with an active family. And so we really wanted to explore as many options as possible to preserve her leg, because the idea of something like an amputation, although a very reasonable option in a situation like that, may not have met the expectations that this family wanted.
We wanted to make the decision based on if Dr. Stockdale, Stephen Stockdale, said that it wasn't going to work, or if River said that it wasn't going to work by showing us. So we're really happy that we've gone through that, and it's been worth it.
My experience, this was my first time using this type of flap, and I've got a couple of colleagues who have done it before, but this is probably a situation where you might do it less than a handful of times in your career, because the circumstances are so specific. We created a skin flap on the side of her chest where she has all this extra donor skin, and we were actually able to kind of mobilize her leg through that, and then, for lack of a better term, stitch or suture the skin to the wound of her forelimb, and then bandaged her like that. So she was able to walk as a 3-legged dog for a couple of weeks, while that skin from her flank was actually adhering or healing to her forelimb where the missing skin was.
When that first procedure happened, when they did put her leg in her side, we were both obviously really nervous how that was gonna go. And they said that night, like she stayed the night here, they said that night we called that she was already walking on 3 legs, which was like astounding to us, but not surprising. She's a fighter, she's a strong girl.
She would come in for a brief sedated procedure. We'd make partial incisions to start to detach the skin from her flank area, and then begin to attach it to her forearm over time. And so that was the difference between using a flap like this from her skin versus a graft, where you completely detach skin and try to transplant it to another area.
Yeah, we've been really surprised at how well she's done. I think it's been harder on us than it has been on River. We'd look forward to this day of her leg coming down for a very long time. Yeah. We cannot wait to take her for runs with us again, and to just see her roll around in the backyard and have fun.
Hi, baby! Oh, it's a good girl! Oh, she's a good Oh my God, no more stitches! No more stitches! Oh, you're good, baby!
Oh my
Hi!